Hey everyone, Joan here, and Happy New Year. So I've been thinking and reflecting a lot about last year with our finances and the progress that my husband and I have made in 2024. And I learned and realized some things that I would like to do differently this year. So just a quick refresher, my husband and I have been budgeting for the last 2 years, and last year we really fine-tuned our spending and we've made a lot of progress with our debt repayment. And I also mentioned in my last video that my in-laws were actually staying with us over the holidays. They stayed with us for 2 months and it really helped us financially. One of the things that I realized that started to happen, especially towards the end of the year, was that I started developing this guilt of spending money. What happened was that all year, we've been so disciplined, we've been sticking to our budget, we were really good about not spending more than we needed, that when my in-laws were in town, they were covering a lot of our expenses. They covered a lot of our groceries, they were borrowing our car, so there was always gas in my car. I didn't have to pay for gas. They were paying for everything else like toilet paper, paper towel, laundry soap, things like that. So my husband and I actually kept a lot of our money. I mean, we kept our budget the same, but we had a lot of money left over. So we funneled a lot of that towards our debt snowball, and we had all this extra money to spend on other things like Christmas gifts and stuff like that. And then there were a couple instances where I started noticing that guilt happened when I spent money outside of my normal spending. There were a couple of times I didn't pack lunch for work and I would go to work without food, and obviously I'm not gonna let myself starve, so I ended up buying food. I ended up going out to eat for lunch at work. And that was just something I was not used to doing all year long. I was really good about packing lunch so we would save money. And when I bought lunch, I felt guilty. I felt like I wasn't supposed to do this, but I had to remind myself, I can't let myself starve. It's not like I don't have money to buy lunch. So I bought lunch and I really had to tell myself that it was okay. I did not have to feel guilty about not bringing food to work and having to buy lunch. Another example that the guilt came up was whenever I would buy my coffee beans. So I would buy a pound of coffee beans at Winco for about $5-6, and I've been doing that for months. However, because I had this extra buffer in our grocery budget, I decided to try this really nice organic coffee from Trader Joe's, 1 pound for about $10. At first, I started feeling guilty again. I would feel bad spending that extra $5 on coffee, but I had to remind myself, I have the flexibility to do this and it's for better coffee. So why should I feel bad? It's not like I do this all the time. It's just right now I have the flexibility to buy better coffee. Because I've been in such a habit of cutting back and paying for cheaper things, I would feel guilty every time I wanted to pay for better things. And I noticed this guilt kept happening. And when I was buying Christmas gifts for my family, that guilt would come up. I became unsure about how much I was willing to spend on gifts for my family. And so this is one of the things that I would like to change for 2025, is that I don't want to feel guilty for spending money. The thing is, it's not like I didn't have enough money. We always had enough money because we were budgeting. We always had money left over after paying for all our expenses and our debt repayment. We had money left over, but I felt guilty. I felt like, oh, all this extra money, I have to focus it on our debt repayment. But again, we should allow ourselves to be flexible, indulge once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. So I really want to change that mindset, that attitude. I don't want to feel guilty for spending money. Another thing I realized about last year that I would like to change this year is my relationship to debt. Anytime my husband and I would talk about our debt and paying back debt, we attach so much negative emotion towards it. It was always like, ugh, I hate that we're in debt. I hate that we have to pay this back. I don't want to owe anyone anything. I just want to get rid of it. I just noticed how much it really affected me, just having these negative thoughts, negative emotions towards our debt. It was like I couldn't accept that we were in debt. But at the end of the day, I realized it is what it is. I have debt and I agreed to get into debt. I agreed to pay fees in order to borrow money. It is what it is. It is done. We have money that we owe and we are obligated to pay it back, and we're gonna pay it back. While the debt feels like it holds us back from doing other things with our money, having our goals to pay off our debt has actually made us better financially. We become smarter with our money because we are so focused on paying off this debt. So I just really need to work on shifting my attitude and not focusing on so much of the negative of the debt, but just focus on just paying it off and just figuring it out. We have been figuring this out and we're gonna pay it off. And one of the biggest things that I learned last year is that it is not enough to be frugal. At the end of the day, I have to make more money. We have to make more money. And this is gonna be our focus this year, is to increase our income. There's only so much I can cut back on. There's only so much I can be more frugal about. There's only so much more I can do that I'm willing to do without sacrificing our health and our well-being. I think I just got so hung up on budgeting and cutting back and trying to figure out what else we can do differently so that we can get to our financial goals more quickly and pay off our debt sooner, that I wasn't really focusing on making more money. And the thing is, I always knew this. My husband and I have talked about this a lot, but it didn't really hit me, at least, until I really looked back at all our finances the last year, looking at all our budget tracking, realizing how much money we made versus how much we spent. And while we've made some slow progress, we know we could progress faster, get to our financial goals more quickly if we just made more money. So this year, our focus is to just really increase our income even more. We're gonna figure out our side hustles. We're gonna figure out ways to increase our income. We're gonna focus on learning on how to make more money, because no matter how much I try to cut back and try to be more frugal, at the end of the day, I really need to make more money. So that is my focus for 2025, is to make more money. And lastly, I want to make 2025 a year of abundance. I want to focus on abundance. I don't want to feel guilty for spending my money or feeling like I'm losing money. I realized that when I paid for lunches at work, I felt like I was losing money, but I need to shift my attitude that I'm exchanging money for abundance. I'm exchanging money for good food, for nutrition, for food that gives me energy so I can continue working. I want to shift my mindset that when I decide to spend $10 on organic coffee, that I'm exchanging my $10 for coffee that's better quality and that I know coffee makes me happy and brings me energy. I want to focus on just being grateful for the abundance that is surrounding me every single day, that I have abundance of money that I exchange for a different form of abundance, like food, transportation, time, memories. But I am still going to continue with my budgeting. I am still going to track my expenses. I am still going to be smart with my money. But anytime I have room to be flexible, I'm not going to allow myself to feel guilty if I decide to buy or pay for something outside of the norm that I've had for the past year. So this is what 2025 is going to be all about. It's about abundance. It's about abundance mindset. It's about bringing in abundance and just being grateful for all the little things I have, because I actually have more than I realize. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear in the comments below what your goals are for 2025. What are the things that you would like to change? And what are the things that have worked for you that you're gonna continue doing? Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you've been here for a while, thank you so much for still being here. I hope you're all having a wonderful new year so far, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.